Hello, welcome to a new video. In today's video, we're going to take a look at Shadow Dragonite, and Shadow Dragonite with the fast move of Steel Wing here. Steel Wing going to allow you to trap some opponents with basically those fairy type Pokemon. We're going to see today how good this is actually going to work, and spoiler alert, it actually worked out really well. And I was very happy about this team because it actually worked out really well. I would change one Pokemon, which is Goodra in the back. I would rather go for what's called Gyarados with Dragon Breath. I think it would be a little bit better for the team, just to counter a bit better those Pokemon like the Rhyperior. I think this would be a little bit better. You can also actually go with Waterfall. You can go with Waterfall as well. Like, you don't have to have Dragon Breath on it either. But as you will see here today, we're going to have Steel Wing against this Snorlax here. Like, Steel Wing, generally speaking, got of course a nerf this season. Was very strong last season, but now it is definitely way weaker. Doesn't mean it is like completely unusable. And as you're going to see as well, we're going to be able to go ahead, go for one Dragon Claw, go for one Superpower, and we will be able to knock out the opponent's Snorlax, allowing us to realign ourselves. We're going to get out the opponent's Rhyperior. I'm gonna catch the fast move here on my lead as well. And now we are gonna be in an interesting spot. I can swap out into my own Goodra, they swap out into their Goodra, allowing me to go for the full farm down while also getting up to an Aqua Tail, which I should have thrown already. But I'm not too worried, I'm still going to have a shield left here anyway, and so we are in a very good spot for ourselves. The opponent is going to only have this Rhyperior left. It's double weak to the Aqua Tail here, and we're gonna be able to win the battle. Next opponent, Chestnut, not ideal at all, like literally not ideal, but what he can do is he can overfarm by a little bit because they're never gonna go straight for a charge move as Superpower would debuff them. Oh no, look at this first Fairy type Pokemon coming out. You can run Hurricane on Dragonite. The main reason why I'm not running Hurricane, there are actually two of them. One is I kind of want to get the energy here on the Dragonite and try to punish whatever's coming in next. If you think about it, what can resist Dragon / Steel type, Steel type damage here in terms of the Steel Wing, other Steel type Pokemon, and for this we have Superpower, which is going to work out quite often as well. But what I can say as well, Hurricane definitely is a very solid choice as well if you want to be a little bit better against other Fairy type Pokemon. Here decided to go for the bait because it's an obvious shield from the opponent, and this worked out super well. They swap out into the Chestnut, they're forced to go for a Superpower if they want to knock me out, which they don't. They want to go for the Frenzy Plant, and I don't think this is a smart idea. Like, think about it. A Superpower would have one-shot me here and would have done, definitely them a little bit better, because then I didn't have to use a shield here. They would have not taken the wall switch damage, and they go for another Frenzy Plant here. Yes, they're not going to be debuffed now, but like in long term, I don't think this really helped them at all. And so here we're going to be able to go for the Dragon Claw against them, put them into Dragon Breath range for our Goodra, which cannot hit a Chestnut with the charge moves because they're all resisted by the grass typing. But Goodra doesn't really care, especially not against a Gyarados here. And we're going to have another grass type. Funnily enough, there are quite a lot of grass type Pokemon around here. Venusaur is one of them as well. I want to say maybe it's like a Dynamax one or whatever, but it's the purified variant of it, so like it cannot be a Dynamax. Honestly, I still feel like it is such a bad choice from Niantic, just game-wise, to not allow you to use any Pokemon for Dynamax. Like in the main CS games, any Pokemon can Dynamax, doesn't matter which Pokemon it is. Not every Pokemon can Gigantamax, there's a difference there, but any Pokemon can Dynamax, and I feel like this would have been so much more smarter for that feature, because now it's like kind of a dead feature where people don't want to invest anything into it, and it doesn't really help the game at all. But yeah, that's my rant on the side as someone who lives in a rural area trying to do Dynamax raids. But generally speaking here, of course, the purified variant here cannot be a Dynamax Pokemon because, they're not allowed to be a Dynamax Pokemon. Sludge coming through here makes it a little bit awkward because we kind of are forced to go for some resisted charge moves here in order to knock them out. I would like to swap out into my Magna Zone, but I see that I'm not going to be able to do it in time, and so I have to go for another awkward here as well. At least we're going to be able to get the knockout here, and this is going to allow us now as well to now see what they're going to have in the back. It's going to be Rhyperior, and we can go for the double super effective move here as well in order to get them quite low, but not low enough actually. Like, I thought I would get them kind of a bit lower. We can still knock out the opponent's Ursaluna here with the Dragon Claw, which is going to be great. This is going to be easily the knockout, and Rhyperior is coming back in, and I can usually just take the hit here on the Magna Zone, I would say. They're going to go for the charge move. I should be able to survive. And I think we're going to be fine here. Are we? No, we're not. They decided to go for a Rock Wrecker, and apparently they had so much energy that they can go for another Breaking Swipe, and I feel like maybe I kind of misplayed this one. It is what it is. We can move on to the next opponent. Another Rhyperior, like, to be fair, I did not really have the greatest leads ever, or like the greatest matchups generally speaking. But against Rhyperior, we're also going to do a little bit more damage thanks to our fast move here, which is cool. Breaking Swipe, we can still survive. We don't get the debuff this time around, which is cool. They have a Sceptile. I have no idea. Like, I'm at like 2900 MMR. Like, for me to face those Pokemon here, it is quite ridiculous. The cool thing about Sceptile, though, is it has access to Breaking Swipe. And I guess people do like this fact. I don't know. Like Breaking Swipe plus Leaf Blade maybe they're running. I'm not too sure about it. But we can swap out of here. We're gonna swap out into our own Goodra. I guess maybe this Pokemon can core break the Primarina plus Dragon teams. Maybe that's what Sceptile gonna do here. But we will see a Breaking Swipe is not going to do too much damage. It's going to drop our attack though, and this is kind of awkward because they're going to have another Grass-type Pokemon here in the back, where we're going to go for the awkward TM. If I had, by the way, infinite TMs, I would go for Sludge Wave on the Goodra, definitely. I don't think that Thunder Punch is as ideal there. Thunder Punch can help against Pokemon like the Gyarados, but usually you're going to be able to knock them out anyway with the Pokemon that you have otherwise on the team. So if you have a Goodra here and you want to try this team out as well, and your Goodra doesn't have Thunder Punch, then maybe try out Sludge Wave, because I feel like it has a lot of potential in this meta, but only if you don't have it yet, of course, because, yeah, getting rid of Thunder Punch is more say not worth it to try to have a little bit of a spicy coverage move there. Anyway, we want to see a Goodra coming back in. We can still go for another charge move, but it's still going to be close, because what we will see here as well is it's not going to be enough to knock them out, and so it's down to our Magnezone. We can catch the move, which is really good, while still getting an extra fast move through as well. Now it's down to me getting to that Mirror Shot, which we can go to, win this battle, and we can move on to the next opponent. So, let's see who it's going to be. It's going to be a Gyarados in the lead. That's going to be great for us. They really like to go and swap out straight away, which they do, into their Rhyperior, and they can go into my Dragonite, and the opponent is going to get my shield here in the beginning. It's going to be a Shadow against Shadow. It's going to do a ton of damage. And now it's going to be a Rock Wrecker actually, and they decide to forfeit. Interesting play, but we're going to have another Rhyperior here. Like, to be fair, I lost nearly every lead matchup, and this is the one reason why I like ABB style lines so much. Like, it is not too bad to lose a lead. Like, it's literally, like, for ABB lines, it's sometimes even better to lose the lead, because you want to swap out and you want to kind of realign yourself by trapping the opponent matchups like this one. To be fair, by the way, this is an awkward situation here against Florges. I think I would have been able to knock them out as well without going for this charge move. I should have not done this. I think I could have just fully farmed them down. I think it would have been better. But as we will see here, there's going to be Primarina in the back, which is going to be a bit of a trickier one, but it's not game over whatsoever. I try to catch a move because, yeah, my Magnezone will never be really perfectly aligned. Didn't work out at all. But at least I'm going to be able to now align my own Dragonite against the opponent again, and I will try to play this a little bit risky. What I mean with this is I'm going to try to over farm always a little bit. The opponent has already moved here at this point, but I'm still going to go for an extra fast move, allowing me to go for another superpower here, and this is going to do a ton of damage. Sadly not enough, and this is going to be something that is very, very sad, which you're going to see here as well soon. The opponent got so many fast moves in that they're going to have another Breaking Swipe. And here is why it's so sad that this happened like this. This Breaking Swipe gets the debuff. It's a 50% chance. I don't want to complain about it at all here, but I just want to point out that this debuff lost me the game. Like, literally, it's just a 50-50 chance if you win the battle or not here at this point. And this is like the thing why I don't like those 50-50 chance moves. Like, either have like a very high chance, or like 20 or like 10 or 30% or something like this, but 50-50 is just silly, because as you can see here, I would have won if it was not for that coin flip. Next opponent, Great Lead for us. Let's swap out into a Scizor. Scizor, honestly, a Pokemon I feel like has a lot of potential in the current meta, especially thanks to Trailblaze. Trailblaze is going to allow you to hit Pokemon like Primarina for super effective damage while boosting up your own attack. And also, then again, we're going to see here the opponent getting their own attack boost anyway, thanks to the Night Slash immediately, which is really awkward because now we have nothing to really deal with this Pokemon. But Scizor has like one big issue, and that's just the stats. Like, this Pokemon just doesn't have the stats for the Big Boy League. It is just not close enough to those main threats. It's in the main series games. Actually, it's a really good Pokemon to use, even in a lot of competitive cases or whatever. But here, I guess it is not really working out too well for them. I actually can build my one as well. Maybe I should do this. But anyway, we're gonna see the opponent going into their Primarina again. They are going to be forced to go for a charge move against me as well. It's gonna be that. Let's see what it's going to be. It is going to be a Disarming Voice. It's going to knock us out. A little bit of lag here, doesn't really matter, to be fair, as the opponent is going to now go ahead and go for the Hydro Cannon against our own Dragonite, which is fine. That's going to be okay. We're going to see the Metagross coming in. We're going to be able to go ahead and go for that superpower eventually, but I actually decided against it because I kind of didn't want the opponent to give, like, basically have an opportunity to fully farm me down. I wanted them to go for their charge move, so I have a play with Magnezone. Turns out they had more energy than I expected, but this doesn't mean that this game is over yet. We still have a decent chance here of winning this battle. As we will see here, we're going to be able to go for one big hit. This is going to be able to connect, gonna knock out the opponent, but they still have 2 more Pokemon left. One of them is going to be that Scissor, which is coming in here next. I can go for another big hard-hitting move afterwards. This is going to connect as well, gonna get the knockout, and in comes Purina and we win the battle. Next opponent, we're going to have here for Relegator against us. This is going to be a solid matchup, I would say, as the opponent decides to go ahead and go for the Hydro Cannon. I still kind of would like to swap out maybe eventually if the opponent wants to use a shield here. Very likely they will not use a shield though. Like, I could see them, yeah, exactly, that just letting the move go through makes a lot of sense here. We will be able to go ahead and go for that big Wild Charge, getting the shield from them, and I tried to swap out here. And this was actually the first battle that I ever played with this team, and this is not working out too well because we have the Steel Wing on our Dragonite, which is a little bit more of a hindrance here in this battle, as Dragon Breath would have done way more damage, will put them a little bit closer, and sadly I just didn't get out the Florges. Like, I don't know, like, I swap out and they decide to just stay in with their own dragon. Is a bit risky for them. Like, a lot of times it comes down in PvP to like the split-second decisions, and if you're not going to be able to do that in time, it's a little bit tricky. So most people, if they see basically a decent answer against their own Pokemon swapping into them, they're just gonna auto swap into their hard answer, and this is kind of what we're also relying on with this team. Of course, if the opponent would stay in and see that they are Steel Wing on my Pokemon there, they very likely will stay in certain matchups a little bit more because not as great as Dragon Breath. But my goal is, of course, to get out the Fairy type Pokemon and punish them with that, which again a lot of times works out. In this case it didn't, but maybe it's going to work out in the next case here. We're going to have a great lead, or is it? And honestly, I think it was one of the battles where there was a little bit of a weird thing going on. But anyway, we're going to see here the opponent going into the Fairy type Pokemon again, and so we're going to be able to go for a Dragon Claw eventually as well here. I think I just wanted to kind of bait here a potential Hurricane, that's why I went for it usually in the beginning. But yeah, we're going to decide to use a shield here. Hurricane is not on our moveset. Again, you can run Hurricane on this Pokemon, makes a lot of sense. I would rather have something like Aerial Ace if it ever going to be able to get this move, would have been way better for us. But anyway, we're going to see the Togekiss coming in, and this is like the main important thing for this team. You want to align yourself, because now we have Togekiss against our Magnezone, and we have the Goodra against the other Pokemon here as well, against the Golisopod. And here, I didn't want to go for the fast move. I actually literally want to just swap in and swap out immediately afterwards, expecting the opponent to swap out. It did not work out at all. I accidentally, I guess, maybe pressed Buffet or something, and the opponent, like, I was able to get a Volt Switch in, which I never wanted to get in, but it's still fine. We're still trying our best here. We're gonna try to go and fully farm them down, because we need the energy for the Togekiss. We don't need health for the Togekiss, we just need the energy in order to get them into a range where I am going to be able to just win with the moves that my Magnezone has. As we see here, the opponent decided to let the move go through, which is quite smart, as they had to basically get like one move through anyway. And like this, we are hoping that we can go for the double mirror shot, and as you can see here already, we have both of them stored, which is going to guarantee us to win the battle. It's a CMP tie, but it doesn't matter because we're clearly going to be able to win this one. And we can move on to the next opponent. And Gyarados, a very good lead for us. Let's see what they're going to swap into next. They decide to stay in here. And at this point, I feel like it's the best play for me to just fully farm them down. Like, why the hell would I not? Because, yeah, Aquatail is coming through. We will see the Primarina coming in. And with this, they can tell me already they're very likely going to have another Fairy-type Pokemon in the back, which is going to be a bit of an issue, maybe. But as we will see here, I'm going to try my best to align myself. I will go for another charge move here. I will be able to go ahead and go for the mirror shot, but I expect that they're going to have a Florges in the back, just trying to run a double charm team here, which does make a lot of sense as well here. But again, as we'll see, we're going to try our best here against the opponent. The Gyarados comes in, and we can try to go for the full farm down as they swap out into the Florges, as expected. Not too difficult to predict here, and we're going to be able to go for that Aquatail, get them quite low, and look at the fast move pressure that we have with our Dragonite here with Steel Wing. We can use a shield. I actually didn't count the moves perfectly, so I'm gonna go for the superpower here now, just to get the damage off, because I feel like this is going to guarantee us winning this battle. And as you're gonna see here, superpower is actually chunking away quite a bit from Florges. Of course, debuffing ourselves. Of course, they're going to be able to knock me out, but I also still have the Goodra, and this is going to be a good game. final battle for this video. We're going to have Golden Go in the lead. Let's see if this is going to be the team that I showcased recently on the channel. If you haven't seen the video, feel free to do so. We have some lag here, which is quite annoying. Like, if that lag is impactful in terms of us not getting to the move in time, it's definitely not really ideal. But as we will see, I'm going to be able to use a shield against the opponent here. They decided to go for their own Shadow Ball. And now I decided to go for the... I don't know, Wild Charge a little bit too early. Like, I'm not having 2 Wild Charges, but the opponent lets the move go through, which is great for me. They swap out into their chest now, which is great for me as well. And we will see here that they're going to have the Golissabot in the back. And we are in a very good spot. Like, we're literally in a very, very good spot. I should be able to get to another Dragon Claw soon as well, which will be great. I think Dragon Breath and Steel Wing are actually generating energy at the same pace as, yeah, basically just Jerry now. Because I think it's like 3 energy per turn. And I think that's the same for both of them, just that Dragon Breath does more damage generally speaking. But as we're going to see here, the opponent stops out into the chest knot. Here's the thing, the opponent is kind of forced to go for the bait here and hope that I use a shield, which I'm never going to give him, because Superpower is the only real way of knocking us out. And as we're going to see, the opponent decides to forfeit anyway. And so we're going to, yeah, end this video here. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for the support on the channel, and I will see you then. Bye bye.